Yo, what's up guys, it's Zao here, and it's here. Now we have the top 5 cards to beat Red Dragon Archfiend. You know, I got top 5 to play it, the stuff you need for it, but now we gotta beat it. It's everywhere, people are playing it all around. It's actually a decent deck, alright? It's actually not bad. Alright, let's just get started from bottom to top, let's go. Number 5, Lava Golem. I think this is actually the only board breaker I would consider playing against this deck. Or either this or Sphere Mode, but Lava Golem is like more often is going to be online because not every line of combo that Red Dragon Archfiend does gets to Red Supernova, so there's not always going to be 3 monsters on board, but two monsters on board is very likely because it'll probably be Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss plus Red Supernova Dragon, or like Archfiend Abyss plus Dissipator, however way they did it. But Lava Golem does handle that. You know, it gets the monsters into the graveyard, not in the banished. When the synchro monsters are in the banished, that's when you have to be worried because of their trap card red zone. But I mean, you just Lava Golem the threats, and you get a little 2-for-1 right there with Lava Golem. All right, Ash Blossom is actually pretty decent against this deck, so you have to be very careful when you hand trap this deck because what you hand trap heavily depends on what they did. So say they started with, you know, Soul Resonator to add Bone Archfiend, and then a Bone Archfiend effect to special summon himself, and they don't have a Crimson Resonator in the grave. That's when you would Ash the Bone Archfiend when they use the effect to send, because it not only stops the level manipulation, but also stops them from getting a Fiend Tuner in the grave, which most of the time is going to be Crimson Resonator if it's not already there, or it's going to be Obsessive Overloop. But either way, you end them on having a level 4 Fiend and a level 3 Fiend Tuner, which is that awkward level 7. Nothing really great to make there except Kui Belt. But then they need another extender to play through that. So Ash Blossom on Archfiend there is really strong. And if they had like the 2-card combo Bone Archfiend plus Crimson Resonator in hand, then you probably want to Ash the Crimson Resonator. Just stop them from getting all those tuners out, and keep them at least away from having all the synchro monsters. But yeah, Ash Blossom, pretty decent. Next card, I think, Infinite Impermanence is just slightly better because a lot of people are playing triple Tactics Talent, so Impermanence is just naturally better. But you're pretty much going to hit the same cards. Imperm still hits Crimson Resonator, it still hits Bone Archfiend, and it can hit Red Rising Dragon now. Although, you know, the other 2, Bone Archfiend and Crimson Resonator, probably more important hits. You can occasionally hit Red Rising Dragon, but in those cases you have to be careful on if they have used their Bone Archfiend effect yet. If they haven't special summoned it yet, and it's like in the grave, then they can most likely extend past the Imperm on Red Rising Dragon. So that's something to be careful out. But at that point, you probably just need 2 hand traps anyways. The deck, if they have the right hands, you need quite a bit of hand traps. But at the same time, it's the same thing with board breakers. You need quite a bit of board breakers to also play through anyways. So I think the route with more hand traps is it just naturally works better. And you know, you can still hit the same cards. All right, the next one, Bystials. Specifically Bystial Drworm is really good, but you know, Crow kind of like the same thing. But Drworm handles the Crimson Resonator in the grave very nicely, because Drworm also, you know, obviously sends a special summon monster. So pair that with the fact that they don't really have a way to stop graveyard effects besides Dissipator, but with that you need to have a card in your banish pile. So you don't really have anything there at the start of your turn when you're going second. So Drworm is just really solid there. We pretty much take care of 2 threats, because if they extend past the Crimson Resonator getting banished, they most likely they're just gonna end on Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss or like Dissipator. But Drworm just handles those, and if they put them in attack, then it handles them even easier. So that's why I prefer the Drworm. Crow kind of works the same, but at that point, maybe just Impermanent Ash are just, you know, probably better at that point. All right, and now for my top pick, it's got to be Nibiru. So this one comes with a little caveat on it, and that's it highly depends on how your opponent comboed and when you Nibiru them on that. So there's a lot of specifics towards when you Nibiru them. However, at Nibiru's worst, it's like basically a Lava Golem wiping out 2 monsters out of those. Or at its best, it could end their turn on basically nothing. So it highly depends on what extenders they drew, what they used to even get comboing off anyways. But no matter what, Nibiru was never dead. And then, you know, the usual pair Nibiru with like an Imperm or something like that. Absolutely devastating. Your opponent's going to use a bunch of their cards. But then again, that could be said about a lot of decks. So Nibiru is always a solid pick against this deck. If you have it in your side deck, definitely put it in game 2 and 3 because Nibiru is always live against this deck. There's never a time where they're going to just, you know, play and not be into Nib range because their default plays always go to 5 summons, right? I mean, 2 monsters on board to make Red Rising, that's 3. Red Rising 7 back a Resonator, 4, and then make their Synchro, that's 5. So even if they wanted to stop on just Archfiend Abyss, it's already in Nib range. So that's the beauty of Nibiru. Nibiru kind of just, whether or not they go all the way, go, you know, or go halfway, Nibiru's just live. So it's just a solid pick. And you know, I got it. Like I said, there's a minimum and a maximum to how good Nibiru is, and it's in that range where you definitely want to put it in. All right, let me know what you guys think about my top 5 cards to play against Red Dragon Archfiend down below in the comments. If you guys agree, if I missed any cards, or you know, like whatever and all that. But I really think these are just the best cards to use against them, and they're pretty generic for the most part. Most decks are gonna get hit by these cards anyways, so you will probably won't have to change too much. Just make sure you have a bunch of hand traps against this deck. That's just the best way to play it. And yeah, I mean, that's gonna be it. I'll see you guys later, right? Peace out.